Disclaimer. The content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions. Monday, 1 p.m. You know what time it is. We're live here on Circle Back on the Circles Off channel, which is part of the Hammer Betting Network. It is our lifestyle, entertainment, and educational content division, and we are here presented, as always, by Kalshi. This is the show where we cover the latest and trending stories from gambling Twitter, around the Twitter world, the sporting world at large, whether it be news, hot takes, drama, etc. And we're doing it with myself, your host on Circle Back, Jacob Germania. I'm the host here, but I'm also creator and producer for the Hammer Betting Network. The CEO of the Hammer is here, Rob Pizzola, professional sports bettor. In the middle chair, we have seasoned basketball bettor Kirk Evans, author as well with our newsletter at the Hammer. And on the left, we have the content machine that is Jeff Feinberg. Thank you for joining us, everyone, here today. And it's going to be, what's that?
You're getting closer.
The content machine.
Yeah. No,
You like that one? You are.
Yeah, we're getting closer.
I'm surprised it wasn't just meme.
Yeah, he is a meme.
Well, we'll get to that in a sec. Unfortunately, we all have to relive the nightmare of over the weekend. Of course, World Series Game 7 took place between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Jeff and Rob, who are sitting with us, were in attendance for Game 7. And Kanish puts it pretty well here, saying, just watch the highlights. When you factor in the stakes and how it played out, that Blue Jays loss has to go down as one of the most devastating losses in the history of sports. It feels like Toronto is on the wrong side of those a lot of the time, unfortunately.
You know what, Jacob? I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second because Kanish is definitely right about this. But I guarantee you, like, if it was, I don't know, the Mariners that lost in the same fashion in the World Series, Kanish never would have tweeted this. Like, this was 100% tweeted to make me more miserable.
I had the exact same thought that this tweet, if I didn't know who it was from, I would think this is just totally innocuous, normal tweet. But since it's from Kanish, this is rubbing salt in the wound.
Like 100%. There is no doubt he tweeted this to make us more miserable.
Well,
Which part? Like, he just saw the highlights? Like, oh, he just happened to catch
just
up on
to watch
what
the
happened?
highlights. First of all, it's Game 7 of the World Series, man. Come on, like, at least catch a few innings of the game or so. But fine, he watched the highlights. You know, like I said, it's so exhausting reliving this, man. It is so hard.
Well, let's get through it here. A few more tweets to pull up from this one. Uncut Gambit Gems, who is a seemingly a very large Toronto Blue Jays fan, talked about his Yoshinobu Yamamoto World Series MVP bet, 12,000 plus 12,500, saying this doesn't cut through the pain of the loss. And I think there's probably a lot of people out there who lost money on the Jays. There's probably a few Toronto sports fans like myself who likes to emotionally hedge in these circumstances. Not quite to this degree, but I would happily lose that money on that one there. What do you think? What do you think of Jeff?
It's a great bet. Have something smaller because it just seemed like how it could happen after the 5th game.
Yeah.
But I don't know anyone. I don't know who this person is that tweeted this.
Yep.
And I don't know whose account this is under.
No, this was bet in September, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to
there's a
defend him.
timestamp.
No, because I just want to say, I don't know anyone that can win that amount of money on that website. Full stop.
That's a fair point.
Like, they'll stop me. They might let me make this bet, but they will $25. You can win like 4K. You can win like something. I've tried to hit futures, crush it, square accounts squarer than mine. That's the only thing that has me tickled. It's an incredible bet. And the foresight, uncomprehendable genius of this bettor My only thought is I don't know anyone in the world, even the worst bettor I know, that could get a bet to win $12K on that website.
I would say from following this person, they probably
I guess
are
there's
winners.
VIPs.
They know.
Sure.
They know
Yeah.
what they're doing.
But also, like, I'll be honest, like, I put myself in the shoes of a trader at a rec book. If I saw 125-1 World Series MVP bet come through in September, I probably just let
What
it
a
go
bet.
through, whatever. But
King
like,
shit.
the fact that he ends up losing it, winning it, but it comes at the expense of his favorite team losing in Game 7. I mean, I'm sure if it were me, I would give up a lot more than $12,600 to reverse time and have them win that Game 7.
Oh,
That's the type of, like, I've had these happen before where you bet against your team or you have like an outcome that negatively impacts your team. Most of the time for me would be the Dallas Cowboys, and you still end up winning your bet, but you feel like empty, hollow at the end of the game regardless.
yeah. I think a lot of sharp people were on the Dodgers from the beginning of the playoffs, and I definitely had a bunch of messages being like, Dodgers really good, Dodgers really good. And then also going into Game 7, I thought Yoshi at 8-1 was like ridiculously mispriced as well.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider touching either of
Yeah.
them. You know, like I was just, there's no way I'm betting against the Jays. And then, yeah, just a tough way to
I
go.
kind of look at it like how much would I pay for the Jays to win, essentially. And
I know people like the emotional hedge. I don't like in my head having anything like to cheer against.
I am like the complete opposite. I am fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
I don't. Sometimes when my teams have the biggest games, and trust me, they've lost a lot of them, I actually bet like 10x on them. Do
Agreed.
you know why?
Agreed.
Because I don't give a fuck about that money.
Agree.
You want to be invested.
Like I know, but the money doesn't even matter. Like
I
the,
agree.
the law, like
It
the
doesn't-
pain that I felt the next morning. I actually had a Jays future, so I didn't have to make nothing like Hitman, maybe like 8% of a Hitman. But I'm like the type that will just like triple the fuck down because I think about it this way: when they lose, I won't even the money didn't even exist. The pain will like be 99%. My team lost the big game, but I'm fan first. You guys have portfolios. And,
No, but I'm the same as you.
partners to work
I'm
on. No, I
not
know.
a big believer in the emotional
No,
hedge.
I've never done one in my life.
Even
No.
when you win the money, you still feel equally as shit that your team lost. Like it doesn't. If you're hedging for emotional purposes, right? Like the money's not going to mean anything to you, especially in Game 7 of a World Series. It's literally going to mean nothing.
On the flip side, I did have a little Yamamoto MVP, and I don't know. I bet like first touchdown in games against the Chargers on the other side. Like that didn't feel like I was. Yes, it would have taken the Jays to lose for that to win, but it just felt like that is just too good. Like unless Shohei's going to go off in like Game 6 or 7, which was always possible. Like where else is this going to go? And this didn't even include the fact that I was counting him coming in. It was just too.
Yeah,
But you're not making that bet for emotional purposes of like, if the Jays, you're making the bet because you actually think it's a good bet. You're like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense if the Jays are going to lose. Like,
Egregious misprice.
Yeah, this is a bad misprice.
And I mean that's probably a misprice in the reverse because that probably should have paid 500-1, but still what an incredible bet.
Yeah.
I guess not because the Dodgers were always going to the World
yeah,
Series.
yeah.
And that's the thing. If the Dodgers lose, they're just back in the World Series next year.
yeah.
I was
Like
saying
that's
that the whole time.
all it's about. Like
It doesn't mean anything. Like
they're just back. It's been like the Patriots lose it. Like they're going to 4 more World Series in the next 5 years. They'll make it all up. Every single one of them is going to have a handful of rings. Me, it's just like I know that the gap. I've always had the night. It was like the nightmare fuel, of like my brain always thinks like, yes, I want to go back, but I'm so scared to go back because it's been so long since we go back. And if they lose when we go back, my brain will only think I will be waiting that long to go back again. So it's like the worst. So it just.
I had 2 Dodgers fans behind me to the right in Game 7.
Fuck.
And it was, I want to say, 7th inning. And, they could see what I was going through at that time, even though we had the lead, because I'm a nervous wreck in these games. And they're like, nervous much? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you guys nervous? And they're like, no. They're like, we won last year. We're going to have a good team for a long time.
Won last year. They were like in it probably it's all a blur, but they've been in so many. Like their anxiety in the big game. Like
They won it in 2020 as well.
It's not the same.
They're the
they're
favorite
just-
next year.
Their fans, like Boston sports fans for a period, like they're so well conditioned before the big game that
true,
it's.
They almost
I
go
was
in with
in-
the expectation of like, we're going to win. And if we don't, like, we're
We'll
just
win
going to
next
win
year.
next year.
Like I went to an AFC Championship game in Boston, the one Philip played in on his torn ACL, and their fans almost treated me like I wasn't like an enemy. I was like amusing. Like there's a Chargers fan here. Like one of them, like, hey, come hang with us. Like literally, they're like so confident and so content in their place that nothing can faze them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate because people will say like, oh, they're a good team, they can be back next year. Like
No.
they probably won't be. This took like quite a historic run to win the AL East, let alone get this far. This is not just we're back. This was it for the Blue Jays.
Look at the Kalshi market for next year. I don't even think the Jays are like top 10 World Series.
Yeah.
That's what sucks about it the most is it was like a lightning in a bottle type of year.
The variance that was on their side, the amount of like late game blood dumps that went their way on their way to the 94 wins, which allowed them to win the division. I watched it all. Like that's not happening. It is not happening again.
I hope we can cut this clip and use it, Jeff.
Good, use it.
I hope so.
They were 16-20 after getting swept in a minor league fucking ballpark in Tampa, and I lost my mind.
Jeff, in April, I was
I lost my
like, we got to blow this team up.
No.
This is in April. I'm like, this is bad. Like, fire everyone.
The one thing about them is early on, you didn't know if they were going to be good or bad. They were always seemed like they were going to be likable.
Yeah.
And it like they were more, I don't know, whatever. It just sucks. They're
Yeah.
going to go, they're just, sorry.
I think they were the most likable team I've ever followed.
I think from the outside looking in, it's hard because we're in it, right? Like we're into so in real time, I'm watching the series and I'm like, I think this is one of the best series ever, but am I too close to it? Like, am I seeing this from the perspective of the ups and downs I'm going through? And at the same level, I kept thinking to myself, like, I think everyone is rooting for Toronto. I don't see anyone, and I think it's kind of like the David versus Goliath type matchup. This happens a lot during March Madness as well, where you just have like this big underdog that everyone seems to get behind because they're just sick and tired of seeing the team that spends the most money win. They want that team to lose. So it did feel like there was a lot of support. It was, I mean, it's painful. Like it still is. And I probably won't get over it for a while. But I'm sure we will look back on it at some point and be like, that was a pretty magical year. Even though we lost.
Never.
I think we will.
It's gonna be
No,
tough.
we
I
They'll
think
have
we
to
definitely
win.
will.
They'll have to win one pretty fucking quick.
Because
They'll have to win. Like I think about I put my head in the space of like, I know it's not a apples to apples, but like to me, the Seattle Pittsburgh Super Bowl is one of the biggest screw jobs that I've like ever witnessed in the totality of a big
Bill
game.
Levy, I think, was
Yeah,
it?
and like the ref even like 20 years later, like
Apologized for
apologizing
how bad.
publicly
Yeah.
for how bad that was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd never get over it. And then thank God, I mean, I guess the Seahawks had a horrible incident with not Marshawn at the goal line, but then they win one. And I thought it's like, thank God, like Seahawks fans, like thank God you got to get over that
Yeah.
Bill Levy night. Like it just, if they don't win one in the next.
I don't
It
know.
doesn't count. Like it does. I'll never get over it.
Because like I it's not the same, but I was very, very emotionally invested in the Blue Jays in 2015, 2016. Through that era of team with Bautista, Donaldson, Encarnacion, Russ Martin, Tulo, like that. And I was at all the games, and I felt just as shitty. Even though they didn't get to the World Series, not even close, I felt just as shitty when they got eliminated because I thought those teams could win. I thought those teams were good enough to win the World Series. I look back on it now, and I'm like, fuck, like I was at the Batista bat flip game. Like I was at the Edwin against the Orioles walk-off where Showalter didn't use Zach Britton out of the bullpen, right? And like those moments will be ingrained in me forever. Like the Springer Game 7 homer against the Mariners will be ingrained in me forever. Even this Game 7, like I think I'll just look back on it at some point, like 30 years from now, and be like, I can't believe I was at that game. Like, I can't believe I was there for that.
It was unbelievable.
They did the one thing. They did the one. There was no point. It was like almost like I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. They cannot break my heart. Like, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. And then the one scenario where they can break my heart actually fucking played out.
I know.
They won game 5. They came home needing to win 1. And then and then
ball
at the
gets
end of
wedged
6.
in the wall.
And then all
Like,
of it. So like, and I said to my wife before, I'm like, here's the thing. The one thing that's happened coming home now with this situation is heartbreak is now on the table.
Yeah.
Like there was no other. It was all just felt like this crazy dream miracle. Boys of summer, every night something to do because they were so fun and so fucking good. But it wasn't until they were literally up 3-2 that I thought that my mind thought they could win the World Series. I mean that. I did not allow my mind at any point to think they can win the World Series. Even when they beat, like, this is like, I did not. The playoffs started, and if you're in my group chat, I'm like, we don't hit home runs, and I don't know how we're going to win 2-1 ball games.
Yeah.
That was sort of my thought on, like, how are we going to win in these playoffs? And they hit so many home runs, and they were so great and clutch. So that's it. They created the nightmare. Not the nightmare. They created by taking
it was the perfect storm.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm where, like, it was all fun. And then they created the scenario for heartbreak, and then 2 outs, and then bing bong.
And then you become a meme on the internet.
Yeah.
And,
I feel the same as Jeff. Like, I bought like playoff gear, World Series gear, because I'm just like, this will always be a happy memory. If they lose to the Dodgers, of course they lost to the Dodgers. But I wasn't even close to crying after game 6 and 7, but I got pretty close after game 5 because they were on the cusp. Like, I was just so happy about it, but completely ripped down. Other people, non-Blue Jays fans, lost a little bit as well. Sebla's back-to-back big game 7s. He is on the wrong side. He had the Pacers on a huge future.
He doesn't have a passport, by the way.
couldn't make it to Toronto.
I kept asking him, like, where are you at? You kept showing up
Sean Perry was there
courtside.
dressed as a clown behind home plate.
Was he?
Yeah, Sean Perry was at Game 7.
He was?
Really?
I didn't notice.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that. I could have run into him.
Yeah, I didn't know till after the game
Yeah,
either.
okay.
Well, anyways, Steve
So
has
Dodo
back-to-back
showed
big
up,
Game
eh?
7 losses. Trent had fun with that. He has quite a feud with Seblas, as did Spinfluencer. But Jeff, I called you the content machine. Unfortunately, your reaction during the game, head down against the dugout, and looked a little teary-eyed when the Smith home run went over the fence in the 11th inning. So much so that the MLB official account posted a video of it, and the photo of it made it onto First Take earlier today. You said, "Yes, this is me. I accept my place in the world as someone who has everything and nothing simultaneously." I think eloquently worded.
I mean, I say that because I care about so little. I do. To the point where, like, there's things I should care about that I don't, that, at times I'll go seek professional help about, but I care about so little. The things I do care about, I care about too much. And this team happens to be one of these things. This team is the connective tissue of my entire life. Like, understand the Chargers, I go at that like alone in a dark room. I am like alone. I don't give a fuck about the Leafs. I don't give a fuck about the Raptors.
Yeah.
This is like the team that I have with my friends, with my family, that connects me. My greatest memories in my life are through this team. I mean that.
Yeah.
I
Same.
mean, like,
Yeah.
hugging my grandfather when Timlin flipped it to Joe in '92. It's like the most vivid memory of my childhood. There's nothing that comes close to as being picture perfect clear, and being at the ballpark with my grandpas, and it's just crushing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crushing. Sure, whatever. I said to my buddy before the game, like, corny as fuck, like we're married and going into life. It's my friends who are 2 years old. Gone to so many games, spring training, all of it, whatever. So whatever happens tonight, like, we're in it together. And I didn't know it meant like this on the internet, but
I gotta tell
Is that
you,
him in this photo?
Is that your buddy there?
yeah.
That looks like a Halliday jersey, an old
Yeah.
Halliday jersey.
Yeah.
I gotta say, so I got to the game early. I kind of know where all my friends are situated at over the game. You know, you do like some of the waves to people and whatever. And whenever things are getting tense, I'm kind of just like looking around. But I knew where Jeff was at, and I'm looking there regularly. And like this guy watched like 5% of this game. His hands were in. Like, he literally could not bear to watch this game. And for the most part, it was going well. Like,
Yeah, I was-
you know,
every-
the guy sitting next to me, I never met him in my life before on my right. And I'm like, I just hope for one time in like a Toronto Game 7, we get off to a good start. Like, I would love to not be chasing this game and have to deal with that. We get the Bo 3-run homer. I'm feeling great. And, you know, it just like slowly spiraled. But objectively, this is fucking hilarious. Like this is the emotions of like having your head down on the dugout, not even being able to look anymore, and just it is very funny. I know the pain you're going through because I was going through the same stuff. I mean, the final at bat of the game, as soon as Alejandro Kirk breaks his bat, I am no longer actually fixated on the field because I'm right behind the Dodgers dugout. And they're all jumping up, and some of them are even jumping over the railing onto the field, like already. So I didn't even see the play develop. I just saw them all run onto the field, and then some bench coach on the Dodgers just turn around and start yelling at the crowd, like the only one, just one guy. No one was even giving it to him during the game. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, get out of here.
Go celebrate.
Yeah, like exactly. Like your whole team is on the field, and you're in the dugout, like it hurts, but I swear, I do know I will look back on it at some point and be like, can't believe I was at that game. I really can't believe it. But it sucks, man.
Yeah. At my watch party, the ball did not reach the first base before the TV was off.
Oh yeah, I bolted the fuck out.
As soon as we heard the bat snap, my friend grabbed the remote and shut it off as it was coming from second to first.
My dad was a good man
because
because in 1990 I made him stay and watch the Twins celebrate beating the Jays in the ALCS. And I'd never do that for my kid. We are the fuck out. Like before the ball's in for I'm moving. I see the.
I sat and watched the whole.
I could never.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I didn't leave my seat. I was the only Blue Jays fan in my entire section because a lot of the
You
Dodgers
should be
fans,
the meme.
Yeah, I just sat there. There was literally no one around me. I was just one, and there was a bunch of Dodgers. But you know, like I couldn't move. Like I literally physically couldn't. I'm seeing Magic Johnson on the field celebrating, and that rattled me so hard.
That rattled me.
But then
too.
like Clayton Kershaw came over to the section. And I'm like, you know, like
Yeah,
this is
of course.
a pretty good feel good story. You know, there's another side to this as well. It just.
Yeah, the other side, Dodgers going back to the World Series next year.
You know,
When you say there's another side, yes, Kershaw's great. It's a great way to go out. He got to pitch to one fucking batter. Lucas swung at ball 4 versus him.
a few times.
I know.
It was a pretty haunting scene at the watch party. There's like
No pun intended.
Yeah.
There's 4 guys just sitting in like almost darkness. Everyone's like, one guy's like head is against the wall. 2 guys are like this on the couch. I'm just sitting like staring at the floor. Horrific.
I mean, I'm usually at a Halloween and cheese party with friends and there are significant others. I was not there this year, and my wife reported back, and she's like, it was like a funeral.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, it's just tough. Yeah.
At least there were a lot of Halloween parties Friday night as well for Game 6. But it's Game 6,
Yeah.
so you could have gone out after. You still could have like gotten the night off, right? Like you didn't mad for like a half hour's time, but the party still could live. There's no parties living. There only one thing, and I hate saying this, and trust me, I'm my team had a comeback of horrific proportions on it too, but not to this extent. The only thing, like just doom scrolling Twitter, I guess the next morning, that gave me like the smallest bit of like, at least I'm not that.
Oh fuck.
So actually he's a great guy and a friend. But Ian McMillan being like, I'm the guy here who's the Blue Jays and Falcons fan.
Yeah.
And my heart just like dropped for him. But it's one of those things where it's like,
He's going to be watching. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Ian.
I love Ian.
didn't include
Ian
this.
knows I love him. But it was like, and he can take solace in lifting me up.
You just reminded him of the Falcons again.
Yeah.
I was probably watching live.
He tweeted at us previously. He's like, it's been 3 shows in a row. This has been mentioned. Please stop. And
I didn't know.
now it's not
That
all
made
on.
me
But
feel
no,
bad.
Honestly, seeing you being a meme and seeing that tweet brought a smile to my face in the darkness.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's just, someone was, I lost it on someone on Twitter this morning who was like,
I saw that as well.
it's like, this is what sports is about. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, it's childish and whatever. It's like, no, like, fuck, like, it's okay to get emotionally invested in sports. I mean, but as much as this is a down, like, one of the best moments of my life, I was 20 years, it was 2006. It was when Italy won the World Cup. I mean, Germany semifinals. I hosted with all my friends at my house. I remember that day like it was yesterday. Like, I will never forget that. And these are a lot of these people I don't talk to anymore. Like, we've just grown our separate ways as adults. People have families, they move away. Like, you can't trade that memory and that experience for anything. I was at the Toronto FC both finals, one where they lost to Seattle in penalties and then they won the next year. I mean, I don't trade those experiences for anything. So, like, that's what sports is all about. Like, we invest in stuff that's outside of our control, and you got to realize that, and it sucks. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, just a great year, and unfortunately ended that way. Like, I mean, we could talk forever.
I just want to add this because we do talk about the internet. I know. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Ian, in a different tweet, mentioned, and it resonated with me, how he felt like the amount of hate that he got on Twitter that night, and like I guess the subsequent morning.
The Super Bowl?
Or
Game 7?
after
Okay.
Game 7.
Like trolling?
Not like hot, like my
People
team-
assume that if you post a video that like you're looking for clout, I guess.
No,
or
but
just
no,
like,
it
why
was
would
just
you do
like,
this?
and I'll just gonna put this out there because we talk about the internet sometimes. I will say the amount of like vile stuff that I got in my mentions, and I'm not talking about like from people like random people who just saw that picture, like made a comment, how Jays lose.
Right.
Like the amount of vile stuff from people that like know me or know my content well enough to make these sorts of like anti-Semitic comments because my favorite team lost. Like there was a war for 2 fucking years. There were lots of days where someone did whatever, things happen. If you wanted to throw a comment at me, sure. Like the fact that you waited out for like a sporting event to like make that comment, I found like really not surprising, but like I don't know, really fucking weird.
The internet's
really
can be a
fucking
dark
weird.
place sometimes.
And just to put it out there, I hate to break it to these people. There's a lot of fat Zionists in Los Angeles who are really fucking happy.
Yep.
Okay? There's a lot of them there, and they were probably really happy. So this one just offsets the more there that got to enjoy it. So good one.
All right. Time to move on. We could talk about that for a while, but we got a show to do. We got to move on with the topic for today. Mark Horn in the chat, though, does say it did get, I hate that Jays lost, but it did give us the best 23 minutes of Circle Back ever. Sports just sports. So hopefully we're keeping your attention here, and hopefully you're enjoying so far. If you are, make sure you've hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're live for Circle Back every Monday and Friday. Or Monday we're live 1 p.m. pre-recorded 8 a.m. on Friday. We also do extra bonus videos on the channel on Wednesdays as well. Now, we move into the mention markets, which have got a little bit of a controversy going on about it in the recent days because markets like this exist on Kalshi. Kalshi, our presenting sponsor. And markets like this exist for a lot of different things, such as what will Uber say during their next earnings call? You can bet on a word to be said, like innovation, regulator, etc. And in a recent Coinbase earnings meeting, at the end of the Coinbase earnings call, Brian Armstrong, their CEO, pulled up a mention market and rattled off all of the words that weren't said yet, which is obviously pretty insane. So I kind of wanted to go to you, Rob. Like, what does this mean for markets like this? Is it good for them? Is it bad for them? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's bad. I mean, this is, I think, one of the moments where you realize that potentially we have gone too far. I like to be able to predict or bet on a lot of outcomes. I like that. I like having options. I always have. For me, I like to look at different types of markets. I know if you look at the Kalshi leaderboard right now, you see Mr. Peanut Butter up top there. He's another guy who likes to like dig deep into a lot of these markets and handicap them, and he's had some success doing that. But these mentions markets, like this is a grade A example of market manipulation. And I'm not saying it was even intentional, but when it's that easy to influence a market, we really have to start questioning whether or not these should be offered. Because I'm sure, the CFTC is not going to be super happy next time they're discussing prediction markets and the future of them to know that people are predicting, betting into these markets in some capacity, and you just have CEOs who are like, yeah, I'm aware of this market and I'm going to be able to influence it right now. It's almost like we've reached like a parody stage. I could almost see this in a South Park episode, right? Or like a comedy on TV.
We literally did.
But like
that happened.
This is like a Curb Your Enthusiasm, like Larry David finding out about that these markets exist, thinking that one side is great, and then something just happens on the podium during an earnings call and someone spouts off all these words and you lose. Like it is a Curb episode that's happening in real life. So I want lots of markets to bet on. Do I need to be able to what words are going to be said during, a presidential inauguration speech? I don't like these are who's getting excited about this? That's what I need to know, right? Like who are these markets for necessarily?
Yeah, I think when you want to evaluate a market, you want to think, okay, one, like, is it entertaining? Is it for entertainment? Sports, great example. Sports, very entertaining to bet on. This, obviously, no. Is it for prediction markets? Is it hedgeable? Like, is there an actual case where someone would want to hedge on this market to de-risk some platform or some portfolio they have? Obviously not. Is it easily manipulated? This incredibly manipulated.
And I think to your point, easily manipulated is a good distinction as well. Because like there's stuff on like, what will Bitcoin price close at? Right?
Could be manipulated.
Could be.
Very hard.
Very challenging to do so, right? But like this, to your point, could be easily manipulated.
Yes, very easily manipulated. And then also like, is it for the public good? Like you could make an argument that, having the probability of, the next president, let's say, that actually informs the public.
Governor of New York happening right now.
Exactly. Yeah. This absolutely, no, this doesn't inform the public of anything. So, using those measures, which is typically how I measure a market, this is a really dumb market that probably just shouldn't exist.
But Jeff, if you listen to the last 15 seconds of this call, I'm paraphrasing here, it's not the exact terms, but Brian Armstrong's basically like, oh, I've been made aware that there's like markets on this, and I just want to throw out some words here. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and he just starts reading off the words before he ends an earnings call. Like what the fuck are we doing here? Like I think he thought it was going to be funny, and this is a joke, but it's definitely not a joke. Like there's a lot of volume being traded on this
Like
stuff.
it is kind of funny for him.
From my perspective
Kinda
too,
funny.
objectively it is hilarious.
Kinda funny.
But yeah,
I don't think they should exist, but holy shit, if you think I'd have an ounce of sympathy for someone being on the wrong side
yeah.
of one of these easily manipulated markets, get a clue. That's what Darwin taught us this lesson. Like, you're out, pal.
Yeah.
Like, there is no sympathy. I don't give a shit if it's rigged and you lose. That being said, it shouldn't exist. Originally, I thought the markets, they're not manipulative to the extent of like, with the ones you mentioned, or like, will this country bomb that country? Like,
what's going to be the daily high tomorrow? And I mean,
so those I find anything that sort of can impact someone. I don't know, like the ones on like a media. I just find some of them so stupid. But I guess if there's people that want to bet them, that's fine. But it's all easily manipulative. Like the whole shit with the dildos on the court.
Yeah,
Like, I
that
could
was
send like 8 college kids to the game, pack them each with a rainbow dildo, and hit rainbow at 12-1 on these huge markets.
And that was an offshore book that was posting.
No, but there were limits on that. But you tell me that wasn't on Kalshi?
It was on Polymarket at least for sure.
That's what I mean. And I get it. And I get why some of the rec or the offshores would do that. But they're also like capping it at $200. Like, come have fun. We're going to offer this, but you're not manipulating nothing on us. And even if you get 12 beards to get, like, it's still not going to bother me.
If you're on Terry Rozier overs and you find out that it turned out he checked himself out of the game and rigged it, okay, I'll have some sympathy for you.
Yeah.
If you're on green dildo no and someone fucking goes in and throws it, I don't have much sympathy.
But like I also think it's very important to understand, like, we are very much in the early phases of prediction markets, right? Like, this is a testing period. It's what will people trade on? And is there volume here? And if there is, then we'll continue to offer it. And if not, we'll move on. Also, what will the CFTC tolerate in terms of what can and can't be offered? Like, all this is in the very early stages. I'm very bullish on prediction markets. Obviously, we're sponsored by Kalshi here. For anyone who watches or listens to this show, we try to tell it how it is. But when the opportunity came, I was very much on board, because I just believe in these types of products moving forwards. And you can talk about like betting versus, we did this conversation last week, right? I don't really give a fuck. I just want good outs. That's all I care about. To me though, I just don't understand what and maybe there is appeal that I don't get. I just don't understand what the appeal is ever going to be of this type of a market, of mentions. I don't get it.
I get we know some degenerate bettors who will like just have a horse racing channel on and bet race after race. I don't understand why you'd put yourself there. I don't understand why you would like be watching the live stream on a website of late night Korean ping pong or something, but I sort of get it. The thought of like, I'm going to have action on this earnings call and I am like tuned in, like I'm about to watch the horse race is a concept that I can't,
so funny,
like,
man.
I can't like grasp, but like fucking locked into this earnings call. Like, I'm not a shareholder, but I'm locked the fuck in. Like, it's a level of, who is the only people doing it are like have to have inside information, or you're truly the lowest common denominator.
I think everyone who's betting that it's not like someone who's just getting a sweat. I think everyone thinks they're like getting in good, but obviously some people just are wrong. But I think everyone who's betting that market is like thinks that they're making money doing it.
So they're all getting inside information
No,
from
I
a
think
guy.
they think
I'm saying someone is even moving it against it, being like, I'm going to like hit this group who I know this guy's going to weasel it out to 24, is going to the chain of people that I can get this out to that I know the CEO's not going to say it. Like, the level of manipulation here.
Or like
I'll give you an example.
But I think people could have also just like went back and been like, oh, he's never said this word on any earnings call, so I'm going to bet no, thinking they have an edge.
Well, exactly. That's what he means by it. They think that they've done some sort of research, or they've listened to previous earnings calls, they've tracked the words that were said. They think that's an edge. It reminds me of my friends every year where I'm at the Super Bowl party and I'm like, this is the anthem time. And they're like, well, I watched him perform 2 anthems and it was nowhere near that. And I'm like, I know, but this is the anthem time. Like, I don't, and they're like, well, no, and it's just like a refusal to, because they've done the research. They've put in that work. So I can see some stuff there, but I don't know.
The last thing I'll say, and like not to get too political about this, but like right now we're in an environment, especially in the States, where like these prediction markets are in a great spot. Like, seems like the president's son is like involved in these things and wants it to happen. I would say that, you know, in 2029, if there's a new government, you want to be able to like present the case of like these things are actually good. So like having green dildo on your site or these markets, like I just think it can be kind of a bad look in an environment where people aren't so prediction market bullish.
Yeah.
Well, as Mr. Peanut Butter says, when there's markets like this, there is an opportunity to find an edge if you can do the research, because it's just maybe not a lot of people doing it. And a lot of these markets do exist and they currently exist on Kalshi. So you want to get involved with a lot of unique markets, but also more standard markets that you're more accustomed to. Get involved with our sponsor, Kalshi, by signing up with the QR code that is on screen now, or at any point while you're watching or listening, you go to the link in the description. Check out what's available there, and we're sure you'll find something that you'll like, and you can support the show in this process as well. Now, before we go to our next topic, we're going to hear from CEO Rob Pizzol about what's going on at the Hammer today.
Yeah, so later on, we got 5 p.m. Eastern time, hit the books, Brad Powers, Joey K. And, you know, listen, if I tune in for the first 5 minutes and Uncle K is going off on Jay's World Series and stuff, like, I'm going to absolutely lose it. I will say, though, I did look at our Hammer fantasy football pool this week, and Joey K taking Jason Cooper to the cleaners this week. So that might be a topic of conversation on the top, because I think Jason's producing today as well. Anyways, if you're into college football, watch a show. It's really good. Tonight, live watch along. I'm on air for my favorite team. I don't love doing streams when the Cowboys are playing. I get a little bit too emotionally invested in it, but other people seem to really like me watching Cowboys games. So Cowboys, Cardinals, 8 p.m., I'll go live. I'll give out props for the game. 8:15 we start. We'll find some live bets as well. And Hammer Daily already passed. It was at noon today. You can still tune into the replay of that if you want. Some college basketball talk today as the season is getting underway. I thought Matthew Winnick was a really good guest on there. But you can just go over to Hammer HQ, set notifications there. Daily, Jason is live at noon Eastern time. It's a pretty tightly formatted show. Lots of bets are given out. All the sports are covered. So I'd recommend that you tune into that one as well.
I smashed my algos like so hard on Saturday night. Like anything that wasn't like just nonstop clicking of like old Eric the Midget and like Beetlejuice things on YouTube. Like just infiltrate my algo. Apparently, I've been so out of the blue. There's like a big budget coming in Canada. Maybe there's a winter election. Highly unlikely, but I had no clue.
I literally had no clue either.
Like I have just done everything I can to get it all out of my algo. Even shows like Beat the Bucks. So many shows, Hit the Bucks. I've like fast forwarded through the first like 5 minutes of anything I've listened to. Even your things. I didn't need to hear you debrief nothing. No offense.
No, I get it.
I like just went right to like the 6 minute mark. I don't want to hear any of it. If Kanish wants to be like a true jerk, just like drop it in again at the 30-minute mark.
That's true.
And you'll get me. Because I ain't listening in the first 5 minutes. I will like just
it was
fast
so
forward
weird
right
doing
through it.
content yesterday morning after that loss. I didn't sleep well. It was daylight saving. I didn't really, I'm so exhausted right now. Like really, really tired. But like, you kind of like almost have to address the elephant in the room,
Sure.
right? It's all the comments before I even get into the chat. Fuck, I should have did what you did though. Instead, I'm just keep getting fed the same fucking.
Twitter's a minefield,
IKF should have got a bigger lead off. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
All of it.
You know, I can't handle this anymore.
Move along.
Move on. Moving on to the Bulgarian scandal that's going on in the UFC right now, because there was an alleged thrown fight in the UFC, and I say alleged probably just for legal purposes, because there was a lot of very good evidence that supports the claim here. It opened at minus 285 to plus 240 in favor of Bulgarian, and it closed minus 130 to plus 100. This one is pretty crazy. The FBI notifies the UFC about irregularities. This is coming from Ace at Betting with Ace 1. Large sums of money came in on Del Val money line. The fight starts. Bulgarian gets a takedown and doesn't complete it. Reverse and acts like a white belt. Just the facts. We have a comment here that said, I've never heard... is this Chiesa? Chiesa? Sorry if I don't know how to say it.
Chiesa, yeah.
Chiesa tear apart someone's performance like he did Bulgarian on the post-fight show, and like I watched the video, he was going at him. And yes, if you watched any of the fight or any of the highlights, it seems pretty conclusive what was going down here. People are tagging the FBI. Somebody was on saying that they have a friend at Hard Rock who saw 5 humongous bets come in on Del Val against Bulgarian and there's a lot of more. This is Bulgarian on the last fight of his contract. He trains at a gym who's been involved in some shady operations in the past. He trained under a trainer who has been involved in some shady operations in the past. Then goes on a podcast on Fight Week saying that fighters should get a percentage of the betting. And then he suffers the biggest late line move since you know which fight, another one involving some shady business, cinema. So a lot of evidence to support the claims that are being brought up here. A lot of people want something to be done. I'm not sure what can be done, but Kirk, do you have any thoughts to open us up on this conversation?
Yeah, for sure. Again, it's just like a lot of this coming out of the rigging and these like FBI investigations. So like kind of like we talked about last week, the punishments here need to be really, really strong. But the UFC, it kind of like we talked about with the bad market, like in Kalshi, it's kind of a similar thing of like, this is a bad market when it's similar like challenger in tennis. You know, even decently big fighters in the UFC maybe are getting paid $75,000, $100,000 a fight. You know, you can make 5x that, 10x that if you're betting on against yourself, especially considering, you know, there's what seems to be a fair line. And then if you're willing to take any price because you know it's an 1,000% certainty that you're going to win, you can get essentially unlimited down. Yep. So this is a huge problem. You know, the NBA players, at least, you know, Terry Rozier's making $26 million. So like him, it's like an incredible, obvious mistake he's making that he's just probably lost his mind, the fact that he's doing that. Versus this, it's like, you know, obviously it's very, very, very bad, but you could at least put yourself in a person's shoes and say, okay, I'm making $75,000 off a fight. If I throw it, I can make $2 million. Like that becomes a much worse calculation. So yeah, this just another kind of bullet that is really bad in these rigged outcomes, and something's kind of has to be done.
And unlike the NFL and the NBA and the MLB, like you don't have like a league office that's capable of policing this either. That's one of the issues. I remember when Ontario pulled UFC betting for like a very brief period of time because like the UFC does not operate like a traditional sports league. There's no integrity checks that are in place or anything like that. They've released Bulgarian, I believe, as of this morning. I believe he's no longer part of the UFC. But Jeff, we used to work at the Score, right? I used to be a massive UFC fan. I've maybe watched 5 fights in the last 7 or 8 years.
The amount of UFC like watch parties that I got like dragged to that I couldn't.
The amount of UFC fighters
because of all the work stuff
that threatened me because my host Gabe would always tell them when they came in that I bet against them last fight. He'd be like, "Oh, Heath Herring, this guy bet on Brock Lesnar against you," and Heath Herring looks at me, he's like, "Good bet." Good bet. I had no chance in that fight. But to like going back to those days, we had a fighter in like every week almost. Heath Herring,
all of them,
Diaz brothers, Josh Koscheck, George St. Pierre, even
Matt
Dana
Serra,
White would come in.
The biggest fighters.
We have pictures with Cain Velasquez where he brought in the heavyweight title.
Yeah, they all came in.
They all came in, and it is actually insane how much, I guess, information they have behind the scenes. Right? They would be like, "Oh yeah, we knew that there's like no way that this person could win the fight. I trained with this guy for 3 months and he has like a horrible leg injury and there's no injury reporting. There's nothing. You're betting off of like watching past fights and the hype promos basically that they're throwing out there. And I'm not saying people don't win betting the UFC. There's lots of people who do. Just for me, I've always thought to myself, I'm like, look at combat sports, the judges' results. Like, you're like, how the fuck did someone watch this fight and give this fighter 3 rounds? Like, and it just adds up over time where me personally, I've lost interest in all of these. I'm like, why do I want to bet on this stuff that I feel like there's so much going on behind the scenes?
Different conversation, but everything you said, like, it is actually the most info-based sport.
Yeah.
To get the information that you crave for about, instead of one fucking right guard or center that you crave about because your model's got him worth more than the market.
Yeah.
This is just the one fucking guy, and it's combat, and he's got a team, and there's people in the gym, and there's people sweeping at the gym, and there's like so many people around these people. So yes, there's money to be made, and it is just so info based. And I'll just fight back on the judges, just based on, I'll give you the same answer. If I got enough good information and I get screwed by a judge once or twice, that's just like a ref fucking
Sure,
me
it
over.
could go both
like
ways.
it just, and I'm like, Rob, how do you bet so much?
No,
There's
totally.
this ref, you could just throw a holding flag and like everything you've worked
Yeah,
for.
but the
is,
ref is not deciding the outcome of the
I
game.
agree, but it's just you'll say this like
Jeff, I've been on the
I
right
get
side
enough
of very,
edges.
very poor judging
I've got enough
decisions.
good information. I have enough edges where I will swallow the horrific reffing umping calls. And you too for basketball, I've no doubt.
For sure. And also another just massive issues here is one, in the UFC, again, like you said, it's 1v1. So like, you know, if you're in the NBA, NFL, okay, you could try throwing a game, but realistically, the thing you can really throw is your own props, which if you're betting props, you're going to have to go through the rec market. And that market is actually way smaller. And when you're going at DK or FanDuel, it's way more likely to get flagged than if you're betting like offshore, which you can get huge here. Yeah. And then also, it's actually probably kind of even safer for a fighter if he's going to throw a fight because he can just get strangled out in 30 seconds and not have to take, 50 punches to the face.
True. Yeah.
So
just give a guy your back and that's it.
But,
You
like,
get
I've
choked out
never-
and you tap out.
How
Boom.
often you see, like, yes, there's boring fights, and there's fights where, like, the crowd's booing and, like, nothing happens. But how often, like, it's pretty, I don't know. I'm naive to think it's pretty hard to make, like a rigged 5-round fight. Maybe it's easy, I guess.
I think they
You
said
just-
there were 100 fights flagged now.
Yeah, there's a lot of other fights that have been flagged now for betting behaviors of like.
And as Dana, if it wasn't for the World Series, I'd be way more caught up. And I don't even care about the UFC. I'll always watch a Dana presser. Has he not gone on a 2-minute internet rant
I
yet
have
about
not
this?
seen any. I was looking for that pre-show, and it might exist, but I didn't see anything. But my experience with Dana is that like I don't think he gives a shit. I think he's just going to cut the fighters and be like, he's going to come out and be like, yeah, there's some bad apples and they won't fight again in our organization and this and that. But I don't think they give a shit, honestly. People are going to bet it regardless. And the sport's at an all-time high in terms of viewership. It's grown a lot. I know we don't, like for us, that doesn't make sense, but like look at the younger demographic watching it, right? Tough one. I mean, I'm interested to see like, we're getting this story fairly early in the news cycle. There'll be a lot of stuff that happens past this. I'd be interested in seeing where this is at a month from now.
Kind of curious on your guys' thoughts on what has kind of spilled off from this, because some sportsbooks have actually refunded bets on Bulgarian. Do you think that's kind of a cause for a slippery slope? Do you think that was a good decision?
No. Well, every sportsbook can do what they want. And I think at the heart of it, you're trying to keep your player base happy so they'll continue betting with you. So you basically, I've been involved in these conversations before. It's like, this is the cost of us refunding all these bets to players. Is that worth the cost from a marketing spend? And in a lot of cases, it probably is. With that said, it does set a bad precedent because now anytime somebody thinks that there's some sort of fixed fight or whatever, they're going to complain about it, for one. And two, like, I know it looks bad. It looks very bad, but it hasn't been proven bad. And there's kind of a gap there still.
That's true.
Where, I don't know. It's a tough situation.
It's only tough because, like, I don't even know who the guy is. Not to say it doesn't mean he's not good or is popular.
Yeah.
But you can get in a situation where, let's say there's like a very popular, well-known fighter who's fought in big fights that take huge action.
Yeah.
That's a lot different refunding than Bulgarian fights.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Right?
Sure.
So it's
Not
like
the
fun
main
and
event.
games to do this now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because, you know, this is just like a low-level action. I'm just speaking out of my ass a bit, obviously. But you don't want to create a precedent when there's like a high-action fight incident.
Yeah.
It's going to create a problem. But,
Yeah.
I mean, they create their own numbers, so they can do whatever they want.
Yep.
As
All
we'll
right.
get to, I'm sure.
There you go. All right, we can move into our next topic, which is somewhat in the same sort of vein on like shady dealings potentially behind the scenes, and that's what was at least alleged in this incident with involving DraftKings. The promo guy at the promo guy 123 said, for those who are unaware, there was a hockey stat correction 20 hours after our bet settled. DraftKings regraded it to a loss and took the money out of people's accounts. They seem to be saying they can pick and choose when to regrade based on stat corrections, which is ... So I'm sure anybody who's been betting for a while has had situations like this where either a bet was graded incorrectly or a stat was corrected and it changed the grading of the bet. You may have been on either side of that one here. Typically, though, there's usually language within the house rules that talk about how long it needs to be before they aren't able to make those changes. And for the DraftKings rules that are showcased here, it's pretty ambiguous about like the timing on things. Some people in the comments, now we don't know if this is for sure, but some people have said even 2 days later, they've had bets that got regraded to a loss and the money got taken out of their account. So an interesting one here. They talk a little bit about like a 48-hour rule that comes into play here, but it seems like there is a lot they can do with this. Rob, I think you've mentioned once or twice you've consulted for sports books. So how do you think these situations should be handled? What should be expressed in the house rules?
So I'll start by saying that I don't think that there's any like malintent from the DraftKings side. This is just my opinion. You can disagree with me. I think that this isn't sneaky. I just think it's very, what I'll call like lazy policy. And I completely agree with you, Jacob. I don't have any issue with a sports book resettling any bet. But I think every single terms of service or house rules should have a cutoff point and just make it explicitly clear what that cutoff point is. Whether it's 60 minutes after the game, it's 24 hours, just have a standard cutoff point where at that point you say what's done is done and we're going to move on here. Because what this does is it opens up a whole can of worms where in theory it gives them the possibility, like the way that this is worded, to go back a year ago. I'm not saying that they would, and regrade stuff and update your account balance. And that is fucking stupid. I would be livid if that happened. So I think that this is just a policy issue, and every book should have whatever it may be. They could pick whatever the time frame is, but you as a bettor should know what that time frame is, and it shouldn't be open to interpretation, in my opinion, because the way it's worded now, it gives them the power to reverse any sort of settlement at any point. And it sucks for bettors. I mean, it really does. I've had times before where you wake up and you have like have you ever seen a negative balance in your account?
Say, I just was talking to someone who had a negative like $20,000 balance in their account.
And I'm like, no. What do you want me to do? Deposit $20,000 now because you've reversed this?
And then goes to zero.
Yeah.
I actually will put it out there. I have a negative 800
There you go.
in an account.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I agree.
Gone.
See you later.
Like I took it.
Listen, stat corrections, they suck in sports, especially hockey. I bet a lot of hockey, not as many props as I used to, but the shots on goal stat corrections will make you want to do very harmful things to yourself because different arenas scored in different ways. Lots of these get corrected after the fact. It sucks. That's why I think you just need to implement some sort of time frame. You just say 60 minutes after the game's done, we're waiting for stat corrections. Once it's that, it's final. Sometimes as a bettor, it's going to work in your favor. Sometimes it's going to work against you, and you just live with that. And the sportsbook lives with the customer service of saying, here's our rule. maybe in a one-time instance, they give a player a refund and say, you know what, we'll let it go this time, but be aware of the rule for next time. And that's how I would police it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I don't think anything that happened here was particularly strange. Like a stat correction within 20 hours, I would say you probably expect that to end up being a loss. And if it was stat corrected your way, obviously you're going to argue that should be a win. But yeah, I do agree. Like, I'm actually kind of shocked, and I would want to see if it's in another part of the terms and rules, because the fact that there's no like set time makes
I went to the exact portion that's in this screenshot here. Those who are listening, you don't see the screenshot, but I went to the house rules here, and I took all of that, and I will say I did not read through every single one of them. I just copy pasted, uploaded it to AI, and said, "Is there anything in here about a set time limit on the resettlement?" And it said no. This is this. So I'm trusting AI in this situation, which I do for a lot of my life, in all honesty. But yeah, I think like I hate rules that I don't want to even say that this is open to interpretation. It's not. It's not open to interpretation. They're just saying we reserve the right to change this at any point. And to me, that's malpractice. You are trying to earn the trust of players. That is not a trustworthy rule. And if it was me running the sports book, I would never have that in place. I would just have something that's
cut off. Especially for like customer service, just to be able to say it was corrected at this time, the game settled, their match settled at this time. It's within this time window, so we're allowed to make the change, or it's not within this time window. We can't make the change.
But
their ability to refund the most like egregious gambling shit.
Yeah.
Like, I bet on a fucking player.
Yeah.
He got hurt in the 6th play of the fucking game. He's just gonzo.
Yeah.
It just, for jerk off marketing. Right?
Yeah.
To glad hand the Muppets. And then there's like legitimate issues that they hold like no actual like human brain, customer service, level of level of response that's just like fair and balanced to the situation. It's just ridiculous. One day the rat think is going to be put in front of Congress.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who the rat think is, I'm not helping you.
Yeah. I'm going to just
Because
say,
he still might give me a paycheck again one day. That's the craziest part about it. But he's a rat think.
the only thing I'm going to say to you, to everyone on this, because I've experienced this before, I don't know the promo guy, and I'm not accusing him of anything. But a lot of times, stuff that goes public in these types of situations, there sometimes is more to the situation. We are only privy to what he's posted on this side of the issue. And for the sports books I've consulted for in the past, there would be tweets of like, oh, this book, I requested a withdrawal and they've held my money for the last 72 hours with no communication. And then you go look into the case and it's like, there's been frequent communication. The reason the money is being held is because it's very clearly like a fraud a case, multi-accounting case. Like we're only getting that perspective. So, but regardless, I don't think that's a good house rule.
Here's the thing. And I don't like to compare normal world businesses to the sports books because you tell me it's disingenuous, but here's the thing. When we have we've all had incidents with the sports book, so everything he says there is like just so believable by our own anecdotal
100%.
Experience.
Yes.
But the difference is when Fats has an incident with McDonald's, we've all had an incident with McDonald's where they screwed us over and they handle it with just have that and we'll give you more. Like, just thank you. We're just going to make you happy here.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, that's why Fats, you're a fucking psychopath, because McDonald's will take care of a real grievance. And this is why Sportsbook, think you don't get any benefit of the doubt even when I don't have the full story.
Yep.
That's how it works.
You just closed the Kalshi market. When will Jeff mention Fats again on Circle Back? November 3rd.
Is that a real market?
No, but the fact that you believed it is...
But it could be. But it could be, which is why you should go to Kalshi.
We're in the parody era of all of it.
100%. It's crazy. Yeah.
All right, we're going to get into the comments from the previous week's show. Before we do, As a reminder, we always like to feature comments on this show, so comment something down below. There's also something good in the live chat. We can talk about it on the show as well. So comment something down below, put something in the live chat, and while you're there, take a second to like this stream because we're putting the work to give you hopefully some entertaining content. You've made it this far. It clearly means you're enjoying or hate watching, but still, give us a like. And hey, if you want to keep up to date with all of our content, make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. First comment to feature on today's show comes from Old Terry 9476 saying, "Is giving out inside information actually illegal? I can see where it would, where you would get fired, but I don't know if there's a law against it like they have in the financial industry. In the sporting world, is there a law against providing inside information?" I guess we're kind of finding out with the Jonte Porter case and soon the Terry Rozier case. But what is something illegal about it, Rob?
Well, the players are having charges brought against them. So listen, I'm not a legal expert. Everything in my life, I seek out legal opinions and advice because I don't have that level of expertise. I'm actually working on something in the background on this. Potentially, that might come to Circles Off in the future. It might not. But I mean, the fact that charges are being brought against players and coaches, yeah, there's something to this being illegal.
I'm not an expert here either, but Jonte was actually doing the betting, which I think is like very clear illegal. I haven't listened to it, but I did hear that on
allegedly
that on Windhorse's podcast, like the NBA Collective, they had like a legal expert on talking about the Rozier case, and they were saying like, it's not that clear that he committed a crime,
right?
Because he wasn't doing the actual betting. So I actually think that this is like to be determined.
What is illegal if I'm like an assistant equipment manager for an NFL team and I'm taking a piss at the right time and I hear the two offensive assistants, I'm taking a shit and they're taking a piss and they're saying a guy's out, and then I just pass along that information to my friends who then bet it. Like I could lose my job. Mm-hmm. And be kicked out of the NFL, but how is that charges?
Look, I don't know what it would be and what not.
I think it's like to be determined. I don't think.
But like, what were the actual charges brought on Terry Rozier? It would be my question for this. Rozier was charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering.
Yeah, so those are mostly like blanket. We're just charging you with something because we want it to be a crime.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the most likely outcome here? Like, Rozier's going to take some sort of plea deal. He's going to do, I don't know, a very, very short jail sentence, or he's just going to get like community service and stay at home for a year with, like, I don't think that they have anything to say, like, oh, this guy's going away. You know, I see, Rozier faces up to 20 years, and he's not going to get 20 years in prison for this. But again, I don't want to misrepresent my knowledge in this area. It's definitely not where I'm most knowledgeable. So I can't give a firm answer.
All right, well, we can move into the next comment, and this is from Not Isaac 42, which is, I'm pretty fucking sure this is Isaac Rose Berman, who says, 4911. So this is Rob. You told a story about how Isaac saw the Sacramento Kings coming through a Toronto hotel, or a hotel, like very early in the morning, like 3, 4 a.m., and they had a 1 p.m. game the next day. And you were like, oh, you find like this big edge, you make a huge bet. Sometimes it works out for you. He said that I asked a couple NBA bettors about this the next day, and they told me I was an idiot and that travel schedule had been factored in. Better to be lucky than good. Does that kind of ruin the aura of the story for you?
I thought the story was that he saw them coming home from the bar.
No, so he was leaving the bar. And he said he got to the hotel late at night. He was like, I don't remember. It was something like 3:30 in the morning. And all the Kings in the lobby, Sacramento Kings were in the lobby checking in. I don't know if it was a back-to-back. I mean, we got to find the exact date. I'll go back and look. But it could have been a travel delay. I feel like a travel delay is probably not already factored in. I mean, listen, if I hear about a travel delay in the NHL, and we hear these like a lot in the winter where a team is like snowed in. They can't fly out that night. They have to wait on the tarmac for 6. I'm probably going to bet against that team. I don't believe that that's factored into the current price. So I don't know which NBA bettors he was talking to. Definitely wasn't you,
Kirk?
No, definitely not me, because I totally agree.
You wouldn't give him the time of day.
If he, no, I would. If they were leaving at, if they had a back-to-back, and the game ended at 1 o'clock and then they landed at 3 a.m., and that was just all scheduled, yeah, that's probably factored in the line and not that big of a deal. But if they had a 1 p.m. game, they were scheduled to get to Toronto, 1 p.m. the day before, and they were just trapped on the tarmac for 12 hours and then got in at 3 a.m. That stuff is like information that can't really possibly be known. Right. So that would be material. I don't know if it's like, it's probably worth like maybe a point to the spread, probably even less. So it's not like some crazy edge, but that wouldn't be factored. So it kind of just depends on what the scenario is.
Right. Can't 100% confirm this is Isaac, but if it's not Isaac, they found how to exactly type
it's
something
definitely
out.
Isaac.
That's
like he
Isaac.
does.
Yeah, that's
This
Isaac.
is exactly how you would
Not
type it out.
Isaac 40. Such a good use.
I mean, probably just for maybe legal purposes. It's no confirmation.
What is
that
it?
it's
Isn't
Isaac.
there the Michael Zilbert? Or
No, it's Mitch.
There's
Mitch.
Mitch, and then there's not Matt Zilbert superfan, which is very confusing, I think.
No, I
Or
think
it's
it's just Matt Zilbert superfan, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a super fan.
And then Mitch in chat.
I got to tell, I think just very random, but seeing Zilbert and Eager go head to head on Twitter will never not make me laugh.
Why does he do it? Why does Eager do it, man?
I mean, this guy's working for an NFL
Yeah,
front office.
why does he do it?
Zilbert has that effect on people. He just does. He has a way of triggering and agitating in a way that I've never seen. And I've experienced it before. Clive, look at Clive. Clive goes nuts. Whenever he tweets at him. Who else? Trent and Zilbert. He just is an
Zilbert was just
agitator.
fighting with an MLB player.
Yeah, literally an MLB player. He is an agitator.
Dude, he was with Patches on the weekend, just fucking harassing her. It's like, just leave me alone. Eager, as it's been mentioned many times in the last year and a half, how we have lost social media Eager.
Yeah.
Except Zilbert gets him. Like, there's so many things I know that he wants to probably chirp at people, for certain things, but he cannot, and he controls himself. But when it comes to Matt, like, he cannot hold back the flamethrower.
Shout out Panthers 5-4. Shout out the Panthers.
Keep pounding.
Pounded.
Eager on the sidelines for the win at Lambeau, by the way. He's like, it was pretty silent after the game. It was amazing. I can only imagine working in the front office for a team and getting a win at Lambeau as a 13-point underdog. That's pretty magical.
Last comment that we have here comes from Pokey Eski. I think that's how you say it. And it's a long comment, but essentially what the comment is saying that they don't sweat their bets. They make their bets and they get plus EV prices. They'll do ARBs, they'll do middles, and once they make the bet, they're not worried about it because they know, in theory, it should all balance out in the end. So in the end, they don't really sweat out any of the bets that they have into play. Can any of you relate to that, or are you firmly sweating out the bets that you're placing?
I think we found China's burner here.
Yeah.
Pokey Eski is China Maniac's burner. I don't know. Listen, I've known of some people who do this. It's very inhuman, is what I'll say. It's really hard to turn your emotions off, no matter what. Some are better at it than others. I've always had a challenge with this. Even if I tell myself, like, I'm just not going to pay attention tonight, it sometimes gets hard. I wish I could be like this. It just feels very robotic.
No originator ever could be this. This is a mover or, exactly, like a top-down guy.
Yep.
If you just don't know, if you're
point.
betting on thousands of things and you literally don't remember what you're even on and they have nothing to do with your own analysis, literally just betting on, like, edges in the market, that makes sense to me. But yeah, if you're actually, originating a bet and you have, even 15, 20 bets, that's not that much. One is a pretty big swing.
Yeah.
I just don't believe you can really do that.
There's people like this, like Elf didn't even know like Luca got traded.
Yeah, Elf-
right? Like I'm just saying, like there are people who can just they got the numbers, they know like over time they're fine, even if they take a couple big ones.
But I remember, like, even when I used to listen to Elf Spaces, he would be aware in real time of when he was having a bad night.
yeah, well, because he's betting the games, but he's not like actually watching or sweating that buzzer beater.
Sure, but he is sweating in a different way. Like he is aware in real time of what's going on. Like he'll be like, boys, like this is a bad night. Like I need to go an extra hour for sponsorship or something like, who knows what's real and what's not. But I'm saying that brings up a good point. I think it depends on the type of bettor that you are. I could easily see this being a mover. Someone who just places bets on behalf of others. might not be. I'd be interested to know Pokieski, aka China Maniac.
All right. Before we go into our last full topic on the show, let's hand the keys once again over to CEO Rob, talking about the newsletter that we have here at the Hammer.
Yeah, I mean, since the last time I talked about it, which was last week, the open rates have actually gone up, and we have some more subscribers to the newsletter. Listen, it's not for everyone, but what we've really tried to identify here is like gaps in the market, where we can save you time with your betting, where we can find you some quick bets, where we can give you some analysis from people who are respected in the space, like Kirk, in terms of like the way they think about betting. So right now we got a Monday, Wednesday, Friday newsletter. If you're an NFL bettor, I would say it's a must-have. But if you're just interested in the process in sports as well, I would highly recommend that you sign up. I do strongly believe in what we're putting out there. We had a lot of internal debate on what we were going to do here to make sure it did have value for someone and wasn't just something we're delivering to an inbox for the sake of having another touch point with the user. So QR code is on screen. Link is in the description as well if you want to check it out. But don't take it from me. I always point to the analytics. Take it from the 72.5% open rate that this newsletter has, which is, if you want to go look at industry standards for open rates on newsletters, they are in the single digits usually. So, take it from the people who are enjoying it.
The analytics play, like any boomer NFL commentators here. It's the analytics play.
It's like laying down that bunt, or not bunting. Not that's the analytics play nowadays, yeah.
The last full topic that we have on the show today comes from, once again, Dave Portnoy of Barstool. He says, I hate Peacock. If you are 3 minutes late, you shouldn't be allowed to carry horse racing. Fuck Peacock. So it's kind of difficult to exactly completely understand what this video rant was about. But I think he was trying to place an exacta bet on horse racing. And Peacock had the horse racing up, but it was on a little bit of a delay. So when he went to go place his exacta bet, the bet would not go through because the event had already started. The exacta bet that he claims he was going to make was going to win, and he would have won $120,000 on his wager. Now, it was a little bit confusing, but is that kind of what you guys got from it as well? Is that what I'm getting?
That's exactly it. He is very upset because the bet he placed or was going to place would have won $160K, but he couldn't place the bet because he was watching on Peacock and the race had not started yet, but in real life, the race had started. So the event on TV was on a delay. And that's why he is very triggered.
Should he be triggered?
Yes. No offense, in the same way, I don't know how you feel about it, but in the same way that you will sit on your perch and be like, coaches' decisions have to be, for the integrity of gambling, coaches' decisions have to be public. If a guy's shitting his pants, it's got to be public. It's all got to be public for the integrity of the gambling. Yeah. I look at this as like, if it's important for the league and the team, it's important for networks.
I honestly find the delay in watching sports to be such a negative and makes me enjoy, like, I obviously still love watching sports, but it makes the experience so much worse. I wish I could go back and have cable like we used to. It actually is unbearable.
I actually just want to clarify what I'm saying, because, we all have, my provider gets it like 15 seconds before my buddies, so sometimes I won't even text something in the group chat because I'm like, no. Thing, and vice versa. I'm talking about he knows horsing well enough to know if they're not even in the gate, he's got 2 minutes. Even if there's a streaming delay, he's got a minute 30. I'm not talking about just a standard, they're there, I'm here. There is some connectivity. The egregiousness of what this incident seems like it was.
Okay, I disagree.
Of course.
I do think that there should be, I think if there's a large delay on an event, I do think that it should be shown on screen. I do think that on screen they should state that it's delayed. Whether that'll never happen, but I think that should be the reality of it. When I am placing a bet, and if I'm going to be placing a bet last minute, and if I go to any sports book or any race book or whatever, there is always a time associated with that bet. Every single time. There's always a time next to it when you know that it's going to go off. Period. That is the responsibility of the bettor. I know he's watching on TV, but if you're gonna wait, you have to know, like, what the
It's
time.
the responsibility of the bettor to know the player was out late and he was partying, and that's why he's benched.
That's completely different
I
than
totally-
the start time. The start time is posted for everyone. Everyone
It's
knows the
important-
start time.
If it's important for the leagues and the teams, it's important for the networks. They're in the exact same part of your two-person conversation. It's a three-legged monster.
Yeah.
They're part of it. They are part of it. They're as responsible as the leagues and as the coaches to the integrity of the gambling part of it.
But
like
this is not an
are.
integrity issue.
No, I know, but just to the integrity is the wrong word. Just to the like protection and the like what's good for the better.
Yeah, that's different. I think this is bad business to be on a delay. I think that by a lot of people missing the start time because they're watching.
So why does the coach's decision have to be public?
That's an integrity thing.
Why?
So that people are working with the same information.
Well, but the thing is,
We are all
it's not
working with the same
It's
information
not like
here.
the
We know
time
where the
of the
time-
race start wasn't public.
Yes.
It was just.
So sometimes the game says it's starting at 8:05. It starts at 8:07. I don't understand what you're saying.
Yes, but
But it would be the opposite if it said 8:05 but started at like 7:50
Exactly.
and then you missed it. That would be bullshit.
if the sportsbook lists it at 8:05 start,
If
they're
you're
not
watching,
pulling it
I'm
before
just
it
saying,
starts.
if you're watching the live event by
Yes.
the partner who has been given the official rights to the event,
Yeah.
They can't be that far behind.
But-
It is the exact same issue as we are protecting the gambling aspect of it.
The latency is an issue with all betting. I do live streams of games where we're two plays
I am
behind.
not talking about that level of like I'm like 20 seconds behind because the game is being played in Atlanta and I'm watching it on a TV in Toronto. I'm going by the notion of go back to the first tweet here.
Yeah,
It was like minutes.
yeah, a couple minutes. This
The
is well
horses
known, by the way.
hadn't even come close to loading.
Yeah, they do this. I've seen this happen before.
So, and I'm not saying it hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this is part of the trifecta of leagues, teams doing what is right for the gambling.
Okay,
That is the point that I'm
Okay,
making.
that is
where
a
you
fair-
are so
Yeah,
on
yeah.
like, no, you have to understand now that you're in bed with this,
Yeah, I understand.
you have to absolutely cater to it to its fullest degree. That is the point I'm making. I'm sorry if I got
No,
lost in words. That is what I'm saying.
That's more
And I know
valid.
it's not identical to the coach's decision, but it's all part of the leagues making it the responsibility of just being a more tight-knit unit because of the gambling.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's a more valid point. I don't have any sympathy for Dave here. I actually think this is maybe the most on-brand thing that's ever happened to Portnoy. I know the days that I bet horse racing, Kentucky Derby, Belmont, Preakness.
Not everyone is like the hardo like you. And I know Dave's a hardo, so I'm not making the excuse to him. But we're talking about...
But you don't wake up on the day of like the Kentucky Derby and say to yourself, what time is the Kentucky Derby today? Is that not a thought that goes... Don't people do that?
Yeah, and then
I
sometimes
don't
it
think I've
doesn't
known-
start at the exact fucking time it starts because they're still loading.
Sure, but there's a post time where you know you got to get your bet in by. That's the time.
My point is, like, when stuff happens in football...
Yeah.
And there's like a slow information drip. You're on the front lines of getting the information.
Sometimes.
A lot of the time.
I just don't think this is apples to
No,
apples, man.
I understand, but
Yeah.
it's all you are on the front line of getting the information.
Yeah.
But when you make your case about why this is a bad thing that the league does, it is about like the rec.
Yeah.
You are arguing on behalf of like the full rec.
Yeah.
When you be like, no, that information actually has to be public because of the gambling. So I look at it like I don't care that you know the exact time. The network can't. They hadn't even come close to loading on something that people are gambling on is fucking horseshit.
Okay. I think it's a bad business decision. Am I sympathetic towards the bettor who missed the post time? I'm not. It just feels like I bet recreationally too, and most people who are on their phone looking at the stuff, and like there's a time I've never not noticed the time.
Why to be sympathetic for someone who doesn't know that they need to know that the coach has made a decision on a guy's playing time because of a personal incident?
I like
I'm not saying they're the same. I know they're different, but I'm asking why. Like, why are you sympathetic to that?
because they can put in the work to do that. What I'm doing is not proprietary to me. I spend a lot of time navigating through Twitter, and that's what I do to get ahead. Anyone can do that. Like, anyone can set Twitter notifications to Underdog and know that, X quarterback is out and react to that.
Not everyone. Some people are out with their family. They're making their bets. They're not going to.
But they've made that's a decision. I used to have a full-time job too, and then I made the decision that this is getting in the way of my betting.
Okay, so that information being public is for the pros or the recs?
I think that there should be, yes, on the NFL side, in terms of injury reporting, I think it should be standardized because it puts everyone on an even playing field. I do think it's only fair that's the case generally. But like, everyone's on an even playing field. Everyone knows what the start time of this race is. He just happened to tune in on TV and miss it. I mean,
well, I actually don't think he tuned in on TV and missed it.
It was a delayed stream.
Yeah, he's watching it. It's in the background here.
Now, there's an incident where maybe like he rewinded his stream and didn't realize.
It's possible.
And that could be, and that would be totally on the person's fault. But you can't be the rights holder to these things that are being like hardo gambled on.
Yeah.
And do that. And that is on the same boat as when you like scream for the protection of gamblers on the other things. I believe it's interconnected.
I agree with you. So I think I agree with you on that. If I think this is bad business by Peacock, I would totally not be doing this when so much of the interest in this race is coming from bettors. Like, I think that's a bad way to run a broadcast on that type of delay. But am I sympathetic to the bettor who missed the post time? No, I'm not. I'm really not. I don't know. I just every single, and maybe I'm just too much in it but every single horse race I've ever bet on, I've looked at the time of the big race. I don't know. I don't know why this
I'm only sympathetic to people who are watching something they deem is relatively live.
Sure.
And it's like not. That is where I am sympathetic.
I see your point of view. I do get it. And
not everyone is betting on Tuesday on the NFL like you. Some guys are still jamming them in late.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if they're watching Red Zone on a 2-minute delay and they can't get in
and just like you,
bets, I'm going to feel the exact same way.
And just like the Ravens playing fuddy-duddy with an injury report made you really upset, this to me is
but transferred over to a sport that I care. Let's say an NFL game. Let's say Sunday Night Football is on a 5-minute or Monday Night Football is on a 5-minute delay tonight, right? I got the pregame show on in front of me, and then all of a sudden it starts, and I go to put in some bets. And I'm going to be like, oh, what the fuck? This is on delay. I didn't know. I had the whole fucking day to put in bets. I didn't have to wait till 1 minute to post to place bets. I mean, what is this guy doing? Like, what is Dave Portnoy doing in his handicapping that he has to wait till 30 seconds before post?
He's a fucking pure degenerate. That's how they bet.
But that's my point.
And my point is those people need to be protected in the same reasons that you want these other things protected. That is my point.
Bad business decision because they contribute to the ecosystem. Am I sympathetic? No. Zero. That's where I'm at. We can agree to disagree.
No, it's not even about sympathy. I don't need to have sympathy for Dave or someone else who like missed getting the bet in. I'm saying it should be in the same way what you think is important. To me, this is equally important in that the streams for things that are being betted on and sold and having DraftKings sponsor and having guys like Drew pop up and give their fucking parlays 3 minutes before the race.
Sure.
So it's not like the guy on the broadcast is giving his picks 10 hours before. He's giving them 45 seconds before.
I agree. If you're going to have some sort of picks in the broadcast, you might want, if I was the producer, I would probably mention to the audience that you have up until X amount of time to bet this.
Agreed.
I think that should be written into the script. There's probably a lot of things that could be done.
I don't give a fuck that Dave didn't win 160K. We can end on that, I guess. I want to get that out there. I'm not arguing for Dave to have got more money. I just think that things are more connected.
Got it.
And a bigger picture to all of it.
The whole like notion that of everybody like waiting till the last minute, I guess, to parse every single piece of information that's going to come in.
No, but they're degenerate. He bets one race, and then he looks at the next race, and then he fixes the next race.
That wasn't the only thing he was betting.
And then it's between college football. Like, that's what fucking people are doing. We are not those people, but that's what they're doing. Just like in the UFC. They didn't bet just the 6th fight. They're waiting for the 5th fight to end.
Yeah.
And they didn't bet the 5th fight till the 4th fight ended.
And probably the 5th fight is how they did in that fight is dependent.
So
how they're going to bet on the next one. Okay, I got it.
All right. Time to move on, guys.
Sorry.
I got lost to what we were arguing.
Sorry.
If I'm being
The last topic, or the last segment rather, is the chopping block. And Kirk, you actually did have something to say on that segment, and it was the segue, and I changed the order to this. You said you miss cable. You're not the only person who misses cable, because Joey Knish said this: I'm glad you hipsters and cheap fucks killed cable so we could have streaming services and never have these network issues again. Oh, wait. And it's YouTube TV talk about how they could not strike a deal with Disney, therefore ESPN. And now there is, it's become more difficult for people to access college football in the U.S. So do you think streaming has gone too far? Do we need cable back? Kirk, you haven't spoken much in a while.
Does anyone not think this? Like, it's fucking horrible. There are 1,000 streaming services now. You got a little bit of everything. It's terrible. DAZN in fucking Canada is a joke. It's fucking horrible. Just let me watch NFL League Pass or whatever the fuck it used to be called, Game Pass, on cable.
Sunday ticket.
Sunday ticket.
Nothing worse than getting the Juventus alerts on my phone and then seeing the goal like 3 minutes later. I'm like, what are we doing here, man?
I had to turn off goal alerts because I can't, because
Yeah,
I watch
exactly.
soccer
Now
on
when I'm
Fubo or
like,
DAZN.
I have to turn off the forward progress chat when I'm watching football.
When I used to work for the Score and we first developed push alerts, they would always be like 10 seconds behind cable because cable was fast. And now I'm the same way as Jacob. I can't get even alerted on my favorite teams anymore. I can't set notifications on the off chance that I'm watching the game. I don't want it spoiled for me. Knish, I disagree with him on so much.
The worst person you know made a good point.
It is that meme. It is that meme, 100%. But listen, at the end of the day, money's at play. The world revolves around money. And all these big companies, Amazon, YouTube, Netflix, there's money to be made. They're going to get involved. And the reality is, I'm sorry, I was a cable guy for many years as well, but the prices, they fucking reamed us on cable. Like we were getting
nowadays, you'd be getting a deal on cable.
Oh, 100%. But at that, we all agreed we are done with this because this is fucking absurd. I'm not going to spend $200 a month on sports and this and that.
It's the classic of now, this feels like, and now I'm really going wide scale on this topic, but it does feel like it's followed the classic path of now a lot of what business is like, we're going to undercut whatever the current thing is, make it way, way, way cheaper. So then everyone adopts what we do.
They fleeced us for sure.
And then once everyone adopts it, we can just make the price even higher than what it used to be and fleece everyone. But now the prior business is dead, so there's no going back.
Brilliant business strategy, because that's exactly what
Uber
Uber did. Because you know what? I used to take cabs, and then Uber came out, and I'm like, fuck, I can take this stuff for like 40% of the price. Boom, I'm doing it for 2 years, and slowly over time, the prices are going up. And now it's more expensive than a cab, but I'm so fucking ingrained in Uber at this point, I'm never going to get off of it. It is sound business strategy.
Yeah, and it's fucking horrible. Can we talk about how fucking terrible Uber is? Now, after the Jays game, I literally wandered the streets of Toronto because I was so sad. And then I tried getting an Uber, and I can't fucking get an Uber. I had to order an Uber XL Black.
It's Halloween weekend. I just want to...
No, try getting an Uber nowadays.
I don't know.
Okay,
fair.
I don't want to defend the billion-dollar company, but Toronto did not extend all of their public transit on Game 7 night and stranded so many people. So Uber was overrun by Jays fans stuck in Toronto who couldn't get out of the city.
Typical Chow. So we've spoken about it before. It's just a disaster, and they're eating themselves because, like, we're in, but what happened, like, this like bloodline of sports, it has to be fed to the next generation. Like, don't get me wrong, it's on like fathers and uncles to take their sons and their nephews
to football
to
games with their two favorite teams
to build
involved.
their love of the sport. But it's also on that sport, more importantly, like just being easily accessible. Once I've taken them to the game, that they can like fall in love with it in front of the TV. Simple.
Yep.
Now, that being said, keeping it about family. It's the only thing that makes me relieved my grandparents are dead.
They don't have to do it through
Because
streaming.
I could only imagine the calls I'd be getting from my grandma.
Oh.
The game's on Apple TV. Grandpa can't find it. I don't know where it is. Come over. Help us. Help us. We can't find the game. Like, imagine having to like lead my grandparents to these games that all they want to do is watch. I'm just thankful that they're dead. And I miss them so much.
You know, it's hilarious because I've lived through my grandfather calling me and being like, I can't get the soccer game on TV, and me trying to explain to him, like, there's 2 channels that you watch. These are the numbers. Just type them in. And then I'd have to drive 20 minutes to his house to get the game on and be like, don't touch this remote. Like, what I'm going to...
write down TLN and Rai Italia.
TLN and Rai, that was it. I'd be like, what happened here?
One or the other.
And, he pressed down by accident. It went from 365 to 364. And, anyways.
Next topic on the chopping block comes from the Carolina Panthers coming up again on this show because they promoted their games over-under on FanDuel. And there was a FanDuel ad for it within the official Carolina Panthers Twitter account. And Adam Koffler quoted and said, "This rubs me the wrong way, official team accounts marketing their game totals. Does it rub you the wrong way, Rob?"
It does. I understand why it's happened. Once you just like take a step back and you just realize, hey, the world revolves around money. And if there's money at play, people are they're going to do things without thinking about the repercussions or the costs associated with that. It does rub me the wrong way. And like, how far are we removed now from like the Carolina Panthers account, tweeting out, Bryce Young is a good bet to go over 199 and a half passing yards. Like, when are we going to get to that point? It's too much.
We've lost. We're lost. Okay, these accounts. It should just be, if Buddy gets over 43, everyone gets a free 3 tenders at Raising Cane's.
Yes.
Like, that's when America was proper. Now the teams like doing this.
I know.
Right? It's wrong. Like, it used to be, we score the power play goal, free Popeyes. That's what it was about.
I also, like, FanDuel's a sponsor of our network as well on some of our other channels and always had very good relationships with them. I also, though, I guess I don't understand why they want to market in these ways. Like, who's coming across this tweet on the Carolina Panthers account and seeing this and being like, oh, yeah, like, I'm just going to go to bet the total at FanDuel now. Like, their name is out. The brand recognition, we're, like, past that point with FanDuel, DraftKings. You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows these books. They don't have to spend on brand recognition anymore. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, they're like Coke and Pepsi at this point.
It really just feels like the marketing dollars are still there and they have to figure out a way to spend them, and they're just looking for new ways to do it. That's what it feels like to me here. Like, there's just other ways to go about it. I don't know. I'm so far gone.
They give Bussin' with the Boys like $100 million and still need more money to spend on brainwashing people.
Somebody tagged this, #circleback. By the way, you can do that on Twitter at any point. I review them every single week, drop them into a spreadsheet. We talk about
How many of them are from Zilbert? Sorry.
Zilbert, I mean, this is his favorite segment. You're ruining the chopping block. His favorite segment right now, okay?
Him and Eager are still going at it as we
Pump
speak.
the brakes.
I'm just putting it out there.
But my point is that I actually thought I was getting got. I didn't think this was the real Panthers account at first. I saw it and I'm like, there's no way. And then I clicked in and it was the real. And that's when it's sad. When you are actually, you see it and you're like, this has to be fake. And it's not. I'll leave it at that.
Right. And last thing on the chopping block today, FanDuel was down yesterday during, I think, shortly before the NFL early window kicked off. And a lot of people were complaining they couldn't cash out their bets in that window. Seriously. And Austin Prince said, I wonder how much money FanDuel has saved by preventing people from cashing out their bets. If you think this tweet's bad, I encourage you to go to this account and read the replies, which are even positively worse than this.
This thing got 6,600 likes.
Yeah.
This tweet.
Yeah,
This might as well be like, I wonder how much money FanDuel lost from not allowing me to bet my Mega Whale Max plan.
It's
Like,
the same thing.
what are we talking about?
Yeah.
I'm so FanDuel was broken for a bit.
Yes.
So you couldn't cash out or you couldn't bet.
So
FanDuel was down.
FanDuel was down.
Everything. I noticed.
I believe. I
couldn't
believe
see
in Ontario.
I couldn't
Yeah.
see my pendings,
Yeah.
but I could still use the site.
Same with me.
That's
I could not see
Okay.
my. That's my. For
So
different-
that was where it was down. So you couldn't cash out your bets.
And it was right sort of before the start of 4 o'clock. So I just wanted to see sort of how.
was late
what
one,
was-
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's.
I understand. So people made bet for the 1 p.m. slate. So their touchdown parlay, for example, and they had people going into the 4 p.m. window on that ticket, and they wanted to cash out before the 4 p.m. games.
So this is.
I understand.
This is a very idiotic tweet because we all know like the cash out button. You don't really want to click the cash out button, right? They're just calculating what the EV is on the game and they're charging you an upcharge base. Like they want you to. This is what. They want you to click the cash out
So don't
button.
they algo you on your cash out?
They potentially could.
I've been told like that. Let's say
when
me
I'm
and
priming
you,
an account, I will cash out a lot.
when me and you have the same bet,
Yeah.
we might exact same bet. We might not be offered the same because let's say person A has been more primed to cash out in the past,
Right.
So they know that person is just more trigger happy to cash out. Well, you've like never cashed out,
Right.
so you are getting like a much greiter offer.
Interesting.
I
Never
actually
thought
didn't
about
know
that.
that.
I've anecdotally heard this. I don't. I'm not a casher outer. So
I don't even look at cash outs, so I don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't know.
I gotta tell you though, like I do understand if you are someone that uses the cash out. Like I very rarely watch football with my friends anymore, but if I do, and it's coming to the end of the 1 o'clocks,
Are they all cashing out?
and they want to fire on a 4 o'clock, and they don't have money in the account, they are not going to redeposit. They are going to cash out an existing bet to be able to. So in that window, it is a popular, but I can see why it pisses
It's almost the
people
same
off.
amount of buttons to put in another $500, $200 than it is to get to cash out too. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, but you might.
It's way easier to cash out.
Yeah,
Come on,
you
but
click one button, Jeff, and in some games you're getting offered like it's a shit price, but they're just like I'll just give. If I'm gonna wait another 10 minutes for $5, like why am I gonna do that? Just give me my money now so I can bet it.
oh,
It's
that's
just funny
fine.
that he said how much money FanDuel saves.
I know it's.
Like I could see why you'd be annoyed not being able to cash out, but the idea that FanDuel's losing money on that's very funny.
It is.
sorry.
This is.
I understand.
hilarious
I don't even
tweet.
know that people are cashing out. They just like I want to see my offer.
Right.
Yeah,
I
that's
Right,
true
so
as
you
well.
take away their ability to see their offer, which can be mentally. You just need peace of mind to know what your offer is.
It's hilarious,
Agreed.
man.
I understand like being upset about it, but this tweet is just so fucking funny because you are preventing yourself from making more money by cashing out almost 100% of the times you click that button.
Yeah.
And it's just insane that people don't recognize that. Also, people are so fucking stupid that this gave DraftKings an ability to go on some promo rampage. Like they were like calling out FanDuel essentially, basically saying like, we'll let you cash out your bets. We won't go down. And people are falling for it. So many people are biting on it. It's just so fucking crazy.
You can still cash out on
Cash out on
DraftKings.
DraftKings
Yeah.
for 5% less, but we'll let you do it.
Well,
Oh man, hilarious.
Exactly. All
God,
right,
I love this
that'll
space.
wrap up the show today. If you enjoyed, please make sure you hit the like button. Also, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Keep up to date with Circle Back Monday, 1 p.m., Circle Back Friday at 8 a.m., and Wednesday videos at 1 p.m. We have an educational video coming out this week that you're going to want to check out. Those have been doing very well, and you're going to want to make sure you tune into this one as well. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. We will